Again, Boker Tov, everybody, and Chag Sameach, Rabbi Eric Solomon, Raleigh, North Carolina. Miriam Sukkah on Hoshana Rabbah morning. It's the last, really the end of Sukkot is today, and it's called Hoshana Rabbah, which is a minor holiday, minor part of the festival, where we take our lulav and etrog for the last time, and we shake them. And there's actually a tradition, I'll do it in a little bit, of taking the willows right here, which is part of the lulav. We have the lulav itself, which is the spine of a date tree. We have the beautiful myrtles, and then the willow. And you beat the willows, let all the leaves drop down, as tradition says, like our last sins of this whole holiday season, can let it go. But, I talk about all this together. We've been waving it all week with the etrog, and enjoying the holiday and connecting to God and nature and being outdoors in this crazy time. But I want to talk about what I think might be the most powerful piece of the lulav bundle, which is the willows here. These willows have dried out. I had to replace them this week. The willows typically, you have to keep them wet, and they typically do dry out like this. This is kind of common in your lulav. And, they're the ones that kind of get dissed over the course of the week of the mitzvah because, the spiny, date palm, it's kind of cool and it makes a cool sound. And the hadass, the myrtle, smells beautiful and it has its own fragrance. It lasts better. Of course, the etrog has its own spirit, so it's easy to get behind that. Kids love it. The willow has no smell. It dries out quickly. It's frail. It has nothing really significant to offer per se. In fact, you might say, why are we even bringing it up and honoring it on the holiday of Sukkot? And I want to talk here for a second then about what does the willow offer. So, humility, anava, which we're finishing the Torah now, and Moses, as he's about to die, in the final chapter of the Torah, it says it was no one more humble than Moshe Rabbeinu, the most humble person in Jewish history, in the Torah. And the question, easy to ask, is, what, Moses, humble? Yes, he does demonstrate humility. He has this great potential, a tremendous leader, deals with our people's mishigas and challenges. But, he's up on Mount Sinai, he's going up to Pharaoh. He's not someone who's afraid to exercise power. I mean, he has ambivalence about it, no doubt. And he's frustrated, no doubt. And he questions whether he will be the right leader. That's true. And those are aspects of humility. But he also exercises, a willingness to step forward, use his voice, speak up for justice. He does what he feels he can do in moments. He doesn't sit back and, says, I can't do anything, or I'm nothing, or I'm a zero. No, he does things. So then what does humility mean? And the definition I love, and I've heard this in different Jewish contexts, but I offer it here in the context of the willow too, is that humility is about being right-sized. Humility is not about saying I'm nothing and I can't do anything or I shouldn't do anything or ever giving my gifts is bad. Always being behind, always being in the back, always being quiet, always being reserved, always shedding. There's a beautiful quality to that, to not being the focus of attention. That is beautiful. But too much of that limits our ability to give our gifts. So humility means knowing when to give your gift and knowing when to step back, knowing when to speak up and knowing when to close it down. All of us can work on this quality. And that's what Moses had. Moshe Rabbeinu understood when to step forward and when to step back and let others rise up. And that's what's powerful about the willow. Willow makes barely any sound, much more the little lulav. Has no smell, it dries up, yada yada. It's definitely no etrog, okay? Not even close. But it's part of the bundle. It has its place. It understands humility. It doesn't try to shine or outtake anyone else. But it also doesn't go away. It doesn't dismiss or disappear. And it's a beautiful intention and kavanah, for the New Year's. We finished this holiday season, Hoshana Rabbah. Soon we're actually going to beat these willows. Is to honor the willow and to really see it perhaps as a model for us. That in this upcoming period, COVID continues, fall, winter. You know, there's a tendency for some of us to want to shine and always be in the front, and others of us, we hesitate. But for us to get through this experience together, we need everyone to quietly, appropriately, and beautifully to bring their gifts, like the willow. Not to outshine anybody else, not to take everyone else's space, but to be right-sized. That's what anava is. If we didn't give our gift, then we've been denying the God-given potential we have within us, that God would like us to move forward and exhibit. At the same time, if we do too much of it, then we don't let the other God-given gifts come forward. So, for me, for all of you on this Hoshana Rabbah, the end of Sukkot, as we learned from Moses, the end of Torah, may we all work on our quality of humility. Not that we're nothing, but that we know when to say we're nothing and when to step forward with something. That's the teaching of the willow. Chag Sameach, Shabbat Shalom. Please God, a beautiful, healthy day, humble day.